In 8.2 day 2, we're going to be doing a little bit of what we did yesterday, as well as we're going to graph the rational functions. So we still need to be able to figure out our domain, our holes, vertical and horizontal asymptotes. Those will all help us get the shape of the graph. Let's take a look at this first problem here. We have y equals x plus 4 over x minus 4. The first thing we want to figure out is our domain. Our domain is all real numbers except for whatever's going to make the denominator equal to 0. In this case, that would be 4. 4 minus 4 is 0, so we want to make sure that it's not equal to 0. So we're going to say x cannot equal 4 for our domain. So all real numbers except x cannot equal 4. The next move will be the holes. See if anything cancels. Well, in this case, nothing cancels. X plus 4 over x minus 4, nothing cancels there. If you had x minus 4 over x minus 4, you could cancel, but in this case we can't. So there are no holes. Vertical asymptotes. For my vertical asymptote, it's whatever's left in the denominator. We'll have x minus 4 left in the denominator. So my vertical asymptote is x equals 4. And lastly, my horizontal asymptote, I look at my exponents. In the numerator, it's x to the first. In the denominator, it's x to the first. My degrees are the same. Now I need to look at my coefficients. When there's no coefficient in front of the x, we know it's a 1. You just don't see it. So I have y equals 1 over 1, which is just y equals 1. So there's all my information. This is going to help me graph. Let's graph my asymptotes now. Well, my vertical asymptote is at x equals 4. And my horizontal asymptote is at y equals 1. At this point, I need to plot some points to figure out what my graph is going to look like. So I'm going to set up a t-chart with my x and y values. Now the way I'm going to pick my x values for this is I'm always going to pick 3 to the left of my vertical asymptote and 3 to the right. So these values will be my 1, 2, and 3. That would be my 3 on the left-hand side. 1, 2, and 3. For my next set of 3, I'll go 3 to the right. So 5, 6, and 7. 5, 6, and 7. All right. Now to figure out my y values, I just need to plug in my x value into the original function here, and I'll get my y value. So when I plug in 1 for x, I have 1 plus 4 over 1 minus 4, which gives me 5 over negative 3. So negative 5/3. And we'll do that with the rest of them. So when I plug in 2, I'm going to have 2 plus 4, which is 6, over 2 minus 4, which is negative 2. 6 over negative 2 gives me negative 3. Why don't we continue with that? Now that I have all my ordered pairs, I can start plotting the points. So let's do that. I have 1, negative 5/3. So 1, negative 5/3. It's like negative 1 and 2/3. So I'm going to be right around here. And then 2, negative 3. That puts me right here. And 3, negative 7. That gets me somewhere down around here. And I'm going to connect it with a nice curved line, never crossing the asymptote, but getting very, very close to it. And there's one part of my graph. Now I need to get the other side. I have 5, 9. Well, that's going to put me kind of up above here somewhere, right around up here, we'll say. And then I have 6, 5. So 6, 5 puts me right here. And lastly, 7, and then 11 over 3. Well, 11 over 3 is like 3 2/3, so we'll go up 3 and then another 2/3 of the way. Boom, got it. And let's draw our nice curved line. Now it gets a little hard to see it. I'll continue it in blue. Boom. There we go. And there's my graph. If I had any holes, I would draw an open circle on the graph at that point. We'll do an example in just a second with a hole.